3.
We'll do it live!
Now we're live! Erin Kennedy. The general craziness of it, the impact on your life.
We have gone through so many stories and we said, you know what? This should not be kept to the two of us. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Erin. How
Hi.
you doing?
Good. I feel like we need to get a fade on that music because every time we're like, yeah.
And I want to just either keep dancing or like I feel like
Right. I know.
what do I do?
We'll work on it. Also created
Where do
by
I put
our
my hands?
former talented TV friend, Jeremy Ross. I forgot to tell everybody last time, please like and subscribe and tell your friends so that we can keep navel gazing. We are having fun and we want to keep doing it.
I kind of love this. And actually, my husband and kids turned on one of our episodes and then we ended up watching like 5 of them. I was like,
Let my
well,
kids
maybe
watch
the
any
kids
yet.
are just
I need to do
excited they
that.
could just sit on the couch and watch TV without having to clean their rooms. But either way, I was thrilled.
You know, we'll lean into that. That's fine. Hey, Megan, we have like big news, big guests today.
I'm so excited about this. This person is one of our favorite people. We spent so much time together. We know lots and lots about each other, some that we probably shouldn't know. We've all learned a lot. And if I could just show you one little snapshot of the text messages that we sent to each other during the course of a morning news program, you would be shocked.
I hope you burned those.
Those are probably in there somewhere.
Everybody, please welcome our good friend, Marissa
There
Bailey.
she is.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you, ladies?
Good.
So good to see you. I know you too. I actually get asked a lot. Did you guys really like each other? And I was like, we do. That's the thing, is that we do. We text off hours. We always were, chatting with each other and all that. And it's
Well, what was
I feel like
at some point, like, working third shift and having good friends, it's like they know more about your sex life than, your mom, and more about your problems than your husband. And
it's
all the things.
It's all the things. And I think too, just being moms and, swapping stories. The running joke was I literally called Megan. I think like the first 3 months of my son's life, I think I called her like 12 times. I was like, now what? She was like, it was very helpful. So it takes a village.
But the thing that I think you're stuck together, first of all. So praise the Lord, we liked each other, but also nobody else can really understand what you're going through because it's such a weird sort of setup with your hours. The struggles you have are different than you might have with most everybody else in the universe. So there's a really tight bond there.
It's quite the shared experience. That's for sure.
I think too, like when you stroll into the makeup room at, 3 a.m, you don't have to do niceties. It's just like, this is my authentic self. You take it or you leave it. It's all I've got right now.
We all rolled in Ugg boots and crappy sweatpants and like t-shirts, hair.
I think there was one morning where I grunted at someone. Like I just was like, ugh.
Then they grunted back and it was fine.
Right.
Nobody even cared. No judgment zone.
And then one of the last times that we anchored together, Marissa, we were live together for was it 4 hours? It felt like straight.
Yeah.
For news that nobody knew what was going on at that point, including us. And we were like essentially reading our diary entries to each other live on air just to like fill the time.
Do you
Probably
remember?
I was sitting back over in my chair like,
oh yeah, Meg was chilling. Meg was chilling for sure. No, I think it was like 4 hours. I don't think we had a crew on the ground. We had one live camera and like phoners, like people calling in on the phone. And I remember my favorite trick on the desk was always, if I have nothing else to say, I'll finish my sentence and go, Erin.
That is turn. That's industry standard, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or if the prompter is going bananas and you have to be like, Marissa.
This is when I was happy to be a weather person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, totally. But the ability to be able to just remain calm and collected when everything behind you is on fire is like such a talent and it's such a skill, right?
Yeah.
So I've said this before,
like everywhere else.
I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Marissa is one of the best, not only human beings, but also just pure talent. I'm going to put you on the spot immediately, Marissa. We are going to have you talk live for, do you want a minute or 30 seconds?
30.
I know you could do
been
a
a
minute if you want that. Okay.
I'll set the timer. Hold on.
Okay. I'm going to give you a topic. Megan will set the timer. Are you ready to go, Megan?
Yes.
If you say Star Wars, we're fighting.
I'm going to count you down.
Okay.
I said, if you say
here's the
Star Wars,
topic.
we're fighting.
Wait, you have the topic, right, Erin?
Yes.
All right, ready?
Lucky Charms has replaced Cheerios as America's favorite cereal.
Marissa, we're coming to you in
Is she taking
5,
notes? God, she's a pro.
4, 3, 2.
Hi, everybody. Welcome today. It is currently about 12:01. We are coming to you live with a breaking news report that Cheerios has just replaced Lucky Charms as America's top cereal here in the country. This is a big deal, being that Cheerios is a whole grain-based cereal and Lucky Charms has sugar in it. So the fact that it has unseated Lucky Charms with that delicious, those little marshmallows that are so good, this is a big deal. We have reached out to Mars, which owns Lucky Charms, to see exactly what they have to say. We'll be back in just 5 seconds. That close was, I should have done a minute.
You could have done 5 minutes.
I did. Look at, I took notes.
She went to the whole grain even, for God's sake. There are marshmallows in this one.
Yeah. I also want to do the test because, Marissa, you'll know this about how it's a real talent. And well, Megan could, live in this world, that we can talk for a very long time without saying anything at all. Just along the lines of, that's right. Well, it's 12:01. I'm really glad you're here right now because this is a developing story and we do have reporters on the ground and we are working to speak with this person right now. And don't forget, you can go to our, I can talk that long.
The amount of times that I would sign off as a reporter with, and we have this story and much more on our website, blah, 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 blah,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Reporting live. I mean, it was like solid 8 seconds.
Right.
At least. Mine was always, we'll have more for you coming up today at 11.
That tease that you used to have to do, Meg.
At 11. And I don't think I can say it any other different way. That's just how it came out. That's what it was.
Yep.
All right, my friend, we are going to take you through our newsy questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Craziest place you've peed? This is a judgment-free zone.
No, I know. I'm trying to decide if that awful gas station in a town that will remain nameless was worse than peeing in the brush on the side of a lake during a drowning in the dark. I was out with a satellite truck operator who had already put the bird up, as they say. And I said, I got to go to the bathroom. He goes, well, I can't take this down now. We're on air in 30 minutes. And I was like, well, I got to go to the bathroom. And it's pitch black. And he goes, well, you're going to have to go in the woods. And I was like, okay, but I'm really scared. So could you come with me? And he goes, what? And I go, just walk me out there and turn around. He was like, okay. So we did.
So you're creating a hostile work environment for your photons.
Yes. He's definitely telling that story somewhere. And then Marissa Bailey, maybe walk her to pee.
We need to get photographers on. You know they have the craziest story.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Totally. Craziest viewer letter or comment. I am going to jump in here with how many people in a regular job get voicemails about their coworkers' legs? I do. Okay, here we go. Stand by.
Please tell Marissa not to be ashamed of her legs. She covers her knees. Tell her her legs, what we see now, are great. And she shouldn't be ashamed of accentuating their beauty by not covering her knees and displaying and to display her knees completely and a little bit of her upper thigh as Megan and you display during the newscast. Erin, you have great gams, and it's a pleasure watching the three of.
All right.
You have great jam gams, Erin.
I do. I have great jam gams. I know it.
I think like my favorite part about it is that he called you. If he looked up the number to call the station, then could have just been transferred to my number.
Yes.
I have at least 3
great jam
voicemails.
gams.
Yeah, I have at least 3 voicemails from him. One of them was when I was in a ponytail and he didn't know who was anchoring the news and had to call to find out.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's a great snapshot of the types of things that people reach out to you for.
But those are the real jam gams, gems, because those are the ones that you want to like hold. They don't make you feel bad. They just make you laugh your butt off.
And he's clearly a kind old soul who likes Marissa. So
I don't know. I think,
Bailey.
I guess so. I was trying to be modest, but apparently not what the viewers want. Anyway, so I think the craziest one I ever got was I got a handwritten letter, like a note, and it said, it was signed by no one with no return address. And all it said was, do yourself and the viewers favor and lose weight. Period. You guys, listen, here's the thing. This is the best part about having stuff like this happen to you, is that like, you just come to realize like, who cares? Like, say whatever you want. I don't care. Like, at the time, like, I remember opening it and I remember literally being like, what a loser. And like, just like, that's what you had to send in, was like, I mean, really? But I think that was probably the thing that got me about that one wasn't even the comment. It was the handwritten, like in an envelope with a postage stamp. Like, it's just is so crazy, you know? But I will say, and to that point, I think, and I'd love to know what you guys think, but I honestly can say that after being in television news, my skin is so thick that I don't know if it's coming of age of myself, like getting to a point where I really don't care what people think, or if it's just like when you have people telling you your eyeliner makes you look like a hooker, or I don't like that color lipstick, or I don't like that V-neck on you, or whatever the case may be. You just you're like, okay, whatever.
You don't care at some point, but at the beginning, when you first start and you get those first couple of emails, letters, tweets, whatever it is, you're like devastated because you feel like, I don't know, you almost feel like, or at least I did, I felt beholden to that person to fix whatever it was they didn't like about me for a hot second. And then I was like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
I would say I never got the thick skin, for better or worse. But
you did struggle with that more.
Yeah, I did. I mean, Marissa, though, that sucks, man. It sucks. And I don't think there is. I mean, even if you can let it roll off your back, like, to me, didn't you at one point too want to kind of address it on air, because of course it is systemic in the industry that people expect TV people to look a certain way, and we are not cookie cutters, and we have babies and families.
Yeah, I did want to address it, and it was more so because I felt like I was in a position where I didn't. If I can take the hurt away from someone else and be an example for younger journalists, to your point, Megan, I want to be able to do that. And my favorite line is always like, I'm not going to take advice on my health, my outfit, my hair, my makeup from somebody who likely doesn't look like the perfection that they're expecting me to look like, right? Like, let me see your outfit before you have any room to judge mine. And so it's not, no, of course it doesn't feel great, but I'm also just like, it's the people that love me and care about me and truly have my best interests at heart. They don't care about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This is a person that probably feels crappy about themselves, and so they're lashing out, and as soon as they lick the back of that envelope and stamp that postage stamp on there, they made them feel good. Like, to me, it's just misplaced. And Erin, I will say though, you experienced something in one of your jobs that I think you talked about already, about being live in person with a focus group, judging you and reacting to you. And I mean, that to me is just like inhumane.
Yeah. And that was with my good friend Chris Ty in Ohio. And I can say that because I did not sign an NDA there. But yeah, and that was also the day before a book at like 4 p.m. when we were working best. Yes. And so all I had were those comments in my head where it was like, well, she said Erin Kennedy is an idiot. How do I read the news like not an idiot? And
oh my God.
And that is the hard thing. When you get, even if it's like constructive criticism from your boss or a consultant or whatever it may be, it gets in your head so much that then you can't do what you're supposed to do because you can't stop thinking about how it looks and what it means and what should I actually, I don't miss that.
Marissa, it is such a strange duality, don't you find, that you, incredible journalist, went to journalism school, super smart, capable, and yet you also have to look a certain way for people to listen to you doing your awesome job at those other professional parts of being a journalist.
Yeah. And frankly, I don't think men have to go through the same thing. I mean, if I have seen male anchors put on 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds and not a single comment, but as women, we're expected to look a certain way, or at the time, I do think there is some change happening in the industry right now from people that I still talk to about appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that, yes, to your point, it's just, I mean, I remember feeling at times, especially when I was a younger journalist, it wasn't good enough. It didn't matter if I got the story right. It didn't matter if I beat somebody else on it, or I got a fact that nobody else had, or I had a really good source on something. It didn't matter, because if I didn't look the way certain people wanted, which, by the way, as you know, was subjective. Like, some people want me with curly hair, some people want me with straight hair. So I think that, there's a lot there, but there's also a part of me too, like, it's an appearance industry, right? It's a visual medium. So at some point, like, I feel like I put myself in the crosshairs on that. And so that's why I just over time had to learn that I'm not going to allow that stuff to even enter my orbit. What other people think of me is none of my business, still is none of my business. And you just kind of keep going, but I do remember that, now that you say that, Erin, that you always were a little sensitive little thing, my little Polly Pocket, I used to call you.
Yeah, she always wanted to write them back, whereas I feel like you and I would delete it, and Erin
I did a couple times too.
I'm gonna write them back, and I'm like, just delete it, forget it ever happened.
But I was going to convert those viewers one at a time, lady.
You
at a time.
My hair doesn't look good. Let me tell you what I went through this morning.
Yeah,
all right.
Right.
Dangerous assignment.
I think I'd have to say, personally, I think I would have to say the Boston Marathon bombing, only because at the time they had the lockdown in Boston and they had everybody staying home. And of course we were, I mean, literally, as cars are driving out of the city of Boston, there's like me and my photog driving to the area. And so I remember having this feeling of like looking over my shoulder and like constantly being nervous about it. But, and then the only other time was in my previous job, I was a multimedia journalist, which meant that I shot my own video. I didn't have a photographer. And I remember going to some questionable areas alone that I look back now and I think, my God, what was I doing? It's a terrible idea.
But I think that one alive.
Yeah. But I definitely think Boston for sure.
Tell me you worked in TV news without telling me you worked in TV news.
Well, this is, okay. So the short answer is my makeup was always portable. So I always had my makeup in portable containers, like a makeup bag. Like, so many people have it like in their medicine cabinet or in a bucket in their bathroom, and mine was always portable. And I remember after I left news, I went to the Container Store and I was like, I guess I'm one of these people now that can keep my makeup in the bathroom.
Mine is still in my drawer. Those drawers that we had.
They literally brought you your drawer?
Yeah, they brought me my drawer, and I still have my drawer. My makeup is still in my drawer underneath my bathroom sink. I'm like, well, it's a good container and it works.
That is hilarious.
That's so funny. I think that's probably one of them. The other one is when it comes to, this is sort of getting to the topic we're going to talk about in a second, but when it comes to time, I'm still very specific. Like, if somebody says I'll be there in 5 minutes, and I'm like, if you are not here by 4:59,
I'm judging you.
I'm like, well, but it's like people say 5 minutes and it's like 10 or 15. And I the minute, the second was so important in news that I have a hard time. Like, I should probably not be as literal, but I'm always early to things. So
same. Do you also feel like you have this incredible innate sense of like what 10 seconds is? 15 seconds? 30 seconds? Like, I didn't, when we were playing a game and you were doing your little thing, I didn't even really need to look. That 30 seconds was coming up. I could feel it instantly.
Yeah.
I went to kind of a learning seminar with my current job, and one of the challenges was to learn something new and then speak on it for a minute. I I timed everybody. And I was upset when they went over a minute. Nobody else was in the room. But I was like, you guys, they're going over. Why is nobody standing up and telling them?
Good weather people.
I know.
That's so funny.
I'm very judgy that way. Also, I'm a rule follower. Longest time on air.
I think it was probably, hang on a second. Let me think about this. So it would have been about 10 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock the next day. And there was a plane crash outside of, so 10 o'clock p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. And there was a plane crash in Buffalo, outside of Buffalo. And I was one of the main reporters at the scene, which you can only imagine was horrific. And so I couldn't really go anywhere because they kept coming back to me. And so I was, I'm going to take breaks when I could. But yeah, that's probably the longest.
Hepped up on adrenaline.
Yeah.
A TV talent, something that you learned working in the industry that you carry forward and that other people can use for their life. So like a good talent.
So I actually think the time thing is a really good one, like to be sensitive to people's time. But I think more so than that, especially, I'm going to be careful not to make myself sound old, but with kids these days, I think the ability to pick up the phone, whether it's to answer a call or to call and find out information, I just think that's kind of a lost art in a lot of ways. Like so many people just don't care. And I think as a journalist, I mean, you get so used to calling people and just asking questions. I mean, I remember if there was an incident that was happening at 110 Main Street, I was opening Google to be like, what's at 115 Main Street? Because they can see across the street and that, hey, that Shell gas station or whatever, what do you see over there? Oh, I see this, isn't it? And it's just like, you don't mind picking up the phone. And I think that's a really good thing. Communication's a good thing, So there's that, the time thing. I think part of it too is that, I think there's something to be said for being presentable and, having to come to work every day and present yourself in a professional way. And I think
I don't want to do it anymore.
Megan's coasting now.
I get that.
I need my roots done. I'm just saying.
I'm curious. What about you guys? What are your TV talents that are good life?
I said something similar to yours, which is you're not going to get it if you don't ask. So if you're used to being a shameless asker, I said, if you go and knock on a door of a family whose child just died because you need to talk to them, you can be uncomfortable and you need to ask for what you need. You're never going to get it otherwise.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah.
Mine is more just the ability to get stuff done right away without stressing out about it, if that makes any sense. Like somebody sends me an email, I'm going to write that thing back immediately. It's going to be done and I can put it away. Because if you're in TV, you have a deadline. The end of the day is the show. You got to get it done. And if you don't get it done, that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, get it done, put it away.
Marissa, was that a hard learning curve for you entering the real world and people not responding to your email within 5 minutes?
Still?
I have to control my Karen a little bit. I have to remember that the world doesn't operate on a deadline. I was talking to a colleague who's now out of the business, but he's in corporate America. And he said, deadlines in the real world are just suggestions.
Right?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either, but it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody could use a little time to be a little bit more loose and not take themselves so seriously. So I've been practicing that.
How do you practice being loose?
Yeah.
That was, we said at one point too, like calendar invites. I still don't think I do those correctly, but it would be like, hey, can you hop on a phone call at 3? And they would be like, sure, send me a calendar invite. I'm like, why? I just told you we're going to talk at 3 o'clock. Pick up your phone.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Like, time sending invites.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really another thing.
Questions.
Wait, another thing that's critical is, are you not able to go to the bathroom so fast that like no one even knows you're gone?
Yes. And to bring this back to the viewer to explain, if you were in a live broadcast and you have to go to the bathroom, you have to wait till the commercial and make sure your microphone's off, and you have to run down a hallway. And it's very quick. So
I've taken my shoes off so I could run faster before.
Oh, yeah.
Also, just to underscore how intimate a relationship that we had when I finally get Spanx. I have my Spanx that I like, and then I had ones that I'm not as big of a fan of, but they had the pee hole in them, you know? Could not figure it out. Marissa's the one who told me how.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's so funny. I actually was thinking about the amount of times that Megan and I would help each other with our mics. For some reason, you and I couldn't do our mics without help, but Erin, you always could.
You were good
Because I dropped it into my Spanx.
Oh, see, I didn't wear Spanx because I hate those. They're the
Yeah.
devil, El Diablo. I do not like them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Marissa,
Yeah, I
we
haven't put on a
have
pair
to
of Spanx since then.
clip it on our bras.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever works.
Oh, Marissa, I miss you.
Oh,
I miss
olden
working with you
days.
guys.
I
mean,
miss you guys too.
I know that we could talk for like 8 more hours too.
I know. I don't miss doing it at 3 a.m. though.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
What am I forgetting, Megan or Marissa?
I have one more question, Marissa.
Yes.
Okay. What would now Marissa say to baby reporter Marissa?
Oh God, Megan, that's a great question. I think it would probably be to not neglect my mental and physical health for the sake of the job, and to, if you need a break, just take it. I remember in my last job, you guys will appreciate this. My very first journalism job, where I was actually getting paid to be on television, I was making $32,000 a year, and
That's pretty good.
yeah. But I mean, you know, student loans, rent, the whole thing. And I was asked to take a week of furlough. And because we had a personal services contract, I had the option not to do that. And I remember choosing not to do that because I was making $32,000 a year and I was strapped. And I remember at the time feeling like, oh, I should do my part. And then and since then, what I've thought about is that the corporation doesn't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about how much money you make. They don't care about anything. And every day that I have felt guilt about that has been completely wiped away. That was exactly what I should have done because the corporation doesn't care. And I think that's the one thing I would say is that I think for a lot of my time in news, I was doing it for the sake of my bosses and for the sake of the corporation, when at the end of the day, I should have been doing it more for myself. And I lost that. You know what I mean? When I started in news, I was doing it for myself. And then by the end, I realized, I mean, how many times did we talk about it? The three of us, and just how hard it was to balance everything. And I think that I wish I listened to myself and my gut and my heart more than I did.
Well, you were always first too to volunteer to stay late when it was the breaking news.
Yes. And that was something that I think over time, I don't regret that now. I will say that, but I do, I guess I always just wish that people that were making decisions like that understood a little bit more, because I don't think, I mean, you guys know, it's hard to explain to somebody what it's like to sleep 4 hours a night or to
Feels
not.
like you're jet lagged constantly.
It feels like you're a zombie walking around. And it's just, you know, like, how freeing is it to not have to be like, oh my God, if I go to bed right now, then I get 6 hours of sleep. Like, it's amazing, you know?
I still get an impending sense of doom before every holiday that I can't pinpoint initially. And then I sit with myself with this feeling for a second and I'm like, God, why do I feel like the world is going to end and I'm miserable? And then I'm like, oh, because for 18 years, I was dreading having to go in when nobody else had to, having to work, having to miss things, having to miss family parties, whatever it might be. And I don't have to do it anymore. And then I go, okay, Megan.
I remember Megan, one in particular, I don't remember what it was, but it was a 4th of July and it was right before I got let go. And I remember you were so angry about having to leave the party early in your neighborhood, and rightfully so. And it's like, that's a conversation that like only people that live it and know about it understand, right? And I remember my favorite time of the year was always to see how early Megan would start jockeying for Christmas off. That was always my favorite.
I mean, it was usually like January 2nd.
Number 26.
I was gonna say, it was usually like, I think like the earliest I remember was like August.
Oh my God, but the stress, because there were only 4 of us in that department. And by the way, that story that you're talking about, the 4th of July, I remember distinctly. This is at the moment where I was like thinking it was a great idea to work out before my morning shift. So I think I was attempting to work out too. And I remember coming down to the basement to get on my rowing machine at like whatever, 1:30 or something like that. And I looked and my husband was sitting in the pool next door in his bathing suit with a beer. And I was up already ready for the next day. And I was just like so mad at him, but not obviously not him, but like just, and then I came in and I was like, Marissa, I remember that feeling,
and
you know?
Yeah. And it's like, it's nothing you can explain to somebody.
No.
And you know what? There are still people doing it to this day, whether they're in news or they're, you know, in first responders or work in a hospital or whatever. But I will say this, like, can we just do some shout outs to our partners and our spouses? Because it takes a special person to be with somebody in news. And my husband used to be in television news. That's how we met. And I just think that, you know, they don't get enough shout outs and support across the board for all that they do to support this career that we once loved.
Yeah, well, we did do one on what it's like to be married in it. And I read, Marissa, that the divorce rate in news is like 80%.
Yeah.
Really?
I can see
Oh
it.
my gosh. That's wild.
Especially if you got two reporters, because that's not going to end well.
Oh, that's such a
good.
business.
Mike got out. Good you got out.
Yeah.
What's that?
Said it's good you and Mike got out.
Yeah, no, he actually voluntarily left. He was like, I'm out. He did it for 3 years and he was
smart. He's always smarter than us. Yeah.
Yeah, really. But you know what's interesting, you guys, you'll appreciate this. He actually says that he thinks that sometimes he's as successful in his job now because of his time in news.
Why?
Like he turns around because he can write faster. He for 3 years, he was always writing on deadline. And so now he just writes really fast. And so he does a lot of writing in his current job. And so it's like, but he always says that, you know, he thinks it's because of his time in news, which, as you know, when you're on deadline and you've been trained for, you know, Megan, for you, it was almost 20 years to write, you know, quickly and do things quickly.
It's not a suggestion.
No. And you know, I will say, like, for any like reporter, anchor, weather person, whatever, producer, anything, who's watching us now, who says the thing that we said, which was, I don't know what else I can do. I don't have any other skills. I've only done this for my career. There are about 1 million applicable skills that you are learning right now that you have done every day for the last however long you were in TV that will make you special in your career that you decide to move on to. So for anybody who's afraid of that, yes, it's always a fear of the unknown. But I contend that I am doing well now in what I'm doing because of that job, not the opposite. Right.
And I will say,
yeah, do it anymore, but
yes, right. And I agree with you 100% on that. I will also say I'm saying this because if there are any current journalists or reporters listening that feel like they want to get out of the business, they don't know how to do it. I actually hired somebody, and Erin and I talked about this offline, but I actually hired somebody to revamp my resume in a way that would fit for corporate America or for potential clients that I have. And it worked. I mean, it's great. I mean, once you know, nobody cared what show I anchored, right? Or like how long what stories I covered. But when you talk about like project management, like, was I a project manager? Yeah, I was, because I went out and I made the phone calls and I wrote the story and I listened to sound bites and I asked for graphics and I went to the editor. And of course, you're project managing every day, you know? So there's definitely, you know, I think I've heard you gals say over and over again, the whole thing about the grass is greener on the other side.
It is greener. Yeah.
You still got to mow it, but it looks prettier and it actually is.
Yeah. You can roll around in it, take a nap. Marissa, I want to do this again. So I hope that you will be recurring with us. I would love to do a deep dive too on where you see journalism going. I think that would be really interesting, which is it has changed in the decades that we worked in it and how quickly it changed during COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
Quickest
I would love
ever.
that. And I have so many thoughts on, you know, I feel like sometimes I defend journalism a lot to people because you always hear people throw around the words mainstream media and, well, the mainstream media doesn't cover this. And as you know, for every story that we put on television, there's 14 or 15 things that we couldn't get verified. So we couldn't put it on TV or we couldn't put it in that print online or whatever. And I think that there's a lot there. And yeah, I would love to talk about that sometime.
Yeah, clear. Good.
We would love to have you back anytime.
Oh, you gals are the best. Thank you so much. This was so much
Marissa
fun.
Bailey, thank you.
We missed you,
Bye,
buddy.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Talk soon.